Good evening, ladies as well as gentlemen. Papa Boris here with another Hearthstone Arena. It has been an age since I've played a mage. So we're kicking off our mage run with a mediocre rare. Counterspell can be the ball dickens if you're ahead, but if you're behind, it just doesn't really do anything for you. You spend 3 mana, nothing happens. I think it's probably the strongest of these cards, though, and when it does work, so I guess we'll do it, but it's tricky. Okay, Arcane Explosion's a weird card. Is it good? No, it's not good, but it's a card I frequently find myself wishing my opponent did not have. So although Fen Creeper is probably the better card in the abstract, I'm going to take for education purposes the Arcane Explosion just to see how it goes. Easy pick here. The underrated Ironfur Grizzly is going to be our first creature, and this is total trash. I'm going to take the downer on Mage because mages do need spell damage, and it works nicely with Arcane Explosion, but of course the Kobold Geomancer would be the best card for that purpose. We get an Epic here. Ice Block I'm not a fan of. I've lost one game to it. All the rest of the time it's never made a difference. So I'm going to take Blood Knight, which can be amazing. I don't like all these 3 mana things. But we're getting another one because that's the only playable card. Okay, this is the worst. You don't want a spike at 3 mana, pretty much ever. So the Dark Iron Dwarf's the better card, but I could use some card draw. I've really started to appreciate being able to draw cards. I'm actually going to take the Gnomish Inventor here for the card drawing potential. Okay, Polymorph's an easy pick there. Let's grab that. Oh, well, Lord of the Arena. Only playable card. Getting an Epic, chance number 2 for Ice Block. So this is weird. So Pyroblast, of course, can win you games. Phasis Manipulator, like if it were a Sea Giant, I would take it over Pyroblast any day of the week. But Phasis Manipulator is a bit unreliable. You don't know what you're going to get. So I'm going to take Pyroblast and try to see if I can get my opponent down to 10 health. Alright, the Mana Worm and Mirror Image work well together. If I can only have one, the one I want is the Mana Worm, of course. Let's take the Infiltrator. I'm going to have a slow start, might as well, or high stuff here, I might as well get some 1-drops. Best card is the Sorcerer's Apprentice, and I do need some 2-drops. Let's take Lame Strike there. This guy's been annoying recently, but not annoying enough to not take another 2-drop when I need those. Okay, Cone of Cold is fine, but I'm going to take the Tiger. I like this a lot as a mage. You can play it, hit someone with, then finish him off with a Pyroblast. So here's the tricky thing. The Golem is the best card here by a mile, but I've already got 1, 2, 3, 4 3-drop creatures. So I need either this guy or the Leper Gnome. Both of them have a place. This is another 1-drop, so I can go for a more aggressive bent to my deck, or I can just, go more mid-rangey with the Guardian. Let's take a Leper Gnome. If I've got Pyroblast here, I might as well get more burn potential, and the Leper Gnome does provide that. Okay, let's go ahead and grab the Dark Iron Dwarf this time. And Fireball is an easy pick, so we're going to be a little bit burny, I think, with this deck. Forced to take a 3-drop. What is this nonsense? Do I take the Questing Adventure? Probably not. I don't think that will work. I take the Mind Control tech in case of... No, let's just take the best card, which is Imp Master. Okay. So do I take the Spellbreaker here? These are all reasonable picks. The Jungle Panther provides quasi-burn potential because it's stealthy and then it can attack the following turn. Spellbreaker is a silence, which I would like to have one of in most decks. Here I've got just Fireball and Polymorph for removal, really, so silence is a reasonable choice. And the Archmage, of course, is just a big body with spell damage, which is good for mages. Let's take the Archmage here, although the Spellbreaker was probably a reasonable choice. Now I regret that I didn't take the Pine-Sized Summoner in the first pick, because I'm being forced to take a second counterspell. That's not good. Oh, man, do you take Arcane Missiles or Polymorph, number 2? Let's take the Arcane Missile here for some more damage. Sen'jin, I think, over a second Arcane Missiles is an easy call. I still need taunts. I'd love this Geomancer, but Frostbolt's too good not to take. And okay, Argent Squire's great for early drops. Do I take a second Flame Strike? The reason I'm pausing here is if with a Pyroblast, I may want more burn potential. So the Nightblade is a consideration here. Over Flame Strike, I know that's crazy, but how desperate am I? Yeah, this deck's not got enough burn that I would take something crazy like the Nightblade. Or even the Reckless Rocketeer. Let's just take another Flame Strike and keep it safe. Okay, Lord of the Arena number 2. I don't really want another Dalaran Mage. This is somewhat expensive because of this Archmage. Now let's take another Lord. It's going to be a little high, but hopefully my low curve will be fine. So we'll take Abusive Sergeant here, keep things low. Yet another counterspell. So Blizzard or Knife Juggler. Blizzard's probably the better card in the abstract. My curve is a bit high up here, though. Yeah, let's take it, though. I've got a lot of 1-drops. Hopefully they will keep me going. I regret not having gotten a Mirror Image. That would have been nice both for the taunt and to pump up my Mana Worm. But All in all, I think this deck is pretty okay. It's got very strong cards, just curve might be a problem. I'm not going to predict how it'll do, let's just, you know, let's just play the game and see what happens. Don't want to set any expectations. Sorry if I sound far away, I'm trying to throw away the wrapper to this Reese's peanut butter egg I'm about to eat, but it kept clinging to my hands and wouldn't go in the trash can. The exciting story of Boris. Gopia the Hunter. Well, the hunt's beginning with a mana worm. Or a leper gnome. Interesting. These both have their merits. Since I don't have any spells, I'm gonna play the leper gnome rather than the mana worm. Because I just, I mean, this thing just deals less damage than the leper gnome does. Now, the mana worm survives arcane shots. That seems not to have been relevant, so let's go ahead and drop the mana worm. And we got away with murder there. We got to deal an extra point of damage to the opponent because we played leper gnome first instead of mana worm. Yeah, every point of damage might matter in this deck. Alright, he's got a panda, just fine by me. We're just gonna go ahead and kill it with the leper gnome. And Cobra, Infiltrator, and Fire Blast. Well, let's play the Cobra. He seems to be saving his coin, so if he's saving his coin for a Yeti or a Senjin, I'd like the Cobra ready to go for those. Now, if he has a coin multi-shot, that would suck. No coin multi-shot, just a Panther. Okay, well, Senjin was a pretty good drop. That protects my Mana Worm and Cobra from the likes of that Panther. If you're wondering why I put the Senjin on the left, if I put it in the middle, Explosive Shot will kill the Senjin and damage both my other creatures. Right, he's going to play Unleash the Hounds. Does he have a Timberwolf here to go with that? Coin. What has he got? A Raid Leader? Sea Giant. Oh, so he got a turn 4 Sea Giant off of the Hounds. So that's actually, I have a deck in Constructed that does something similar. However, all things considered, could be a whole lot worse. I mean, we are going to get to use the Cobra to kill that off. And sure, let's go ahead and play Arcane Missiles to kill off the Hounds. And beef up our Mana Worm a bit. And of course, I fail to kill the other Hound. That's fine though, we'll just ping it off. I have nothing better to do with my mana anyway. And swing. Okay, this is interesting. The Fireball, I hope I can send it at his face. With that 8/8 dropping on the field, it feels like the game's in the end game, but really it's only turn 5. So, I mean, his ability to deal with this is somewhat limited. He needs like a Explosive Shot or a Multi-Shot. This doesn't have either one of those things. So Lord of the Arena is awful here. It just dies to this Tiger. But I'm gonna play it anyway. I mean, the alternative is to play an Abusive Sergeant. Well, hang on. I could play Abusive Sergeant and Fireball his face. Or Abusive Sergeant and Fire Blast. So that would be, let's see, 2... Well, let me think. If I Fireball his face, he'd go down to 12. Mana Worm would get pumped up to 3, down to 9. And then the Abusive Sergeant down to 5. So then he's dead in 5 turns to Fire Blast. No, that's too slow. Let's do this. Swing, swing. Okay, so see if he does indeed use the Tiger to kill the Lord. If he does, then next turn the Fireball to the face would be much more effective. He's got a Hunter's Mark. Does he have another Unleash the Hounds? Does he seriously have another? He's got an Arcane Shot. Okay, so that allows... That's actually not the worst thing that could have happened. The worst thing would have been another Unleash the Hounds. Okay, this is actually bad because it stops myself in its tracks. I think he messed up here. I think he should have just killed one of my creatures instead of doing what he did. So now, do I use Arcane Explosion? Doesn't... I mean, it pumps up the Mana Worm, but that's about it. I still have to throw a creature at this guy in order to kill it off.
I wonder.
Ah, jeez. I hate to send the Fireball at this Tiger. I really, really do. Okay, what we're gonna do then is run this in, ping it off, play Abusive Sergeant, Fireball to the face, and swing. You know, I probably should have used Arcane Explosion to kill that thing instead of Fire Blast, so that my mana would have hit him for an extra point of damage. That would have meant that would only take me 2 turns to kill him rather than 3. Yeah, I messed up. I should have actually used Arcane Explosion there. Now I've kind of missed my window for Arcane Explosion. He's gonna freeze the Abusive Sergeant, so now it's a little bit scary. I'm set to take 10 damage next turn. Alright, well, we gotta do desperate measures here. I don't want to ping his face. Let's go ahead and Arcane Explosion up. Do that, this. And okay, this is precarious. Had I played correctly and used Arcane Explosion the previous turn, I would have Fire Blasted him last turn and he'd be facing death if he didn't have a healing spell. So that was a bit of a misplay. I saved the spell, but it wasn't really useful. Would have been much better. He's actually going to get to kill my board now, thanks to that guy. These things are at a maddening 2 health. Luckily, I've got Flame Strike and Blizzard to clear his board with, so I have a number of outs. Got a Frostbolt. Well, that'll actually just kill his face. And that is that. Well, a little bit of a sloppy play by my part, but other than that, seemed to go fine. Nice always to beat a hunter who played Unleash the Hounds. I mean, the guy got, on turn 4, Unleash the Hounds, Sea Giant, and no Probalo, thanks to the Cobra. I could have dealt with that Sea Giant with Fireball and 2 Fire Blasts, but that would have been really inefficient. And probably would have cost me a lot. It was nice just having that 3-mana Cobra to kill off his 8/8. So good times there. Good times had by me. And we're on to game 2. You know, I feel less guilty playing Mage. There was a period of time where I had a little bit of a complex playing Mage, because Mage was obviously very strong, but it was like the most popular class. You'd play the arena, there would be nothing but mages everywhere. But I mean, if you think about like the past few videos, like there have not been that many mages. Like it's hunters non-stop now. BLT Genocide, fantastic name. I hate this hand. I would love to keep Ascension in my opening hand because those are such good on turn 4. So good on turn 4, but I just had nothing else playable besides these arcane missiles, so I mulliganed it away, and we got a panda. So would I coin out the panda? Well, if I drew another 2-drop, or a 1-drop, well no, so if I drew a 1-drop, I would play that. If I drew a 2-drop, okay, no. So there's really no point in playing that panda. I've got, like, nothing that I would really accomplish there. Alright, the Crocolisk is annoying because Arcane Missiles is really unlikely to kill it. So what I'm going to do is risk things. I have to just play the panda and hope he doesn't have a Shattered Sun Cleric. Or Power Word Shield, both of which would really ruin my day. This is actually just a really terrible hand. Lots of spells and not particularly, you know, useful ones. So he's going to play this thing. So that deals a lot of damage, and it doesn't die to Arcane Missiles, rather annoyingly. But, could be worse. Okay, I could play the counter spell. I can't afford to do that. However, we need to do this. So if I played Arcane Missiles and 2 of them hit this, I could coin and Fire Blast this thing, but if only 1 of them hit, or 0, it would be really awkward and pointless. I could coin into Counterspell, though. Is that worth doing? That is actually worth doing, I think. I don't think he expects a Counterspell. He might be afraid of, you know, Vaporize or something. He might not buff this up because he's afraid of a Vaporize. He might choose to send it at my creature. You know, it might mess up his plays. He might not play like a really good 4-drop here because he's afraid of Mirror Entity. Let's say he attacks first. So he sees now it's not Ice Armor or Vaporize. He knows it's very likely to be Mirror Entity, so he wouldn't want to play Ascension or a Yeti or a Light Spawn if he has one of those. You know, this secret has value even if it's not doing anything at the moment. Okay, so this guy just traded with my 2-drop and dealt 2 damage. That's really not a big deal. And he plays a Raptor. Notice he's fishing for a Mirror Entity there. He realizes to his disgust it was not Mirror Entity. As I realized to my disgust that I have nothing to do on my turn. Still the case. Well, let's take a coin flip here with Arcane Missiles, I guess. Oh god. Oh my god. If that had hit his face, I would have been a very sad panda. Luckily, we get to kill that off, so all I did on turn 4 was kill off his Raptor. So, not the greatest, and since I did use my coin to accelerate the spell, I'm not playing Lord of the Arena next turn, which is kind of frustrating. Alright, well, that's good. So he spends his whole turn playing a 5-drop. I will spend my whole turn killing it with a Fireball. Boo! So, back and forth game here. I'm holding on to Flame Strike and Blizzard, so I could get some card advantage, potentially. And I might also counter a really critical spell. I spent 2 mana for this. Ah, man, Light Spawn. Damn it. So this Lord of the Arena, it was good in a couple of games, but ever since then it's just been terrible. Look at how bad this is. It's just gonna die to light spawn. So is it worth polymorphing this thing? Taking my turn killing a 4-drop? Or should I just trade? I'm gonna play the Lord, let him trade. I mean, if he plays a Temple Enforcer, that would be really heartbreaking, but apart from that, I should be okay. I just hate use polymorph on such a lame threat. Lord of the Arena, so bad. Look at how bad this is. If you were wondering why I kept saying it was bad when it kept on being really, really good, like this is a perfect example. This is a 4-drop, it is killing my 6-drop. That's not good. It's not how we want to do things. Well, he doesn't seem to have a Temple Enforcer. I bet if he had one of those, he would have just slammed it down. He's going to play Faceless Manipulator to copy my Lord of the Arena and then trade it off. That's annoying. So that was a pretty good turn for him there. Okay. Well, I'm going to take a little bit of a risk here. I'm actually just going to go ahead and play the Lord of the Arena. So my thinking here... Sorry, not Lord of the Arena. I'm going to play a Stranglethorn Tiger. My thinking here is I get this down... And then next turn I can like Flame Strike and kill off the Lord of the Arena if he doesn't heal it. He might not heal it, he might have better things to do with his mana. He's got a Power Word Shield. Oh, well. So Counterspell, at least it stops the buff and it stops him from drawing a card, but that was not the most impressive Counterspell ever. I think I have another Counterspell in the deck, don't I? Yeah, I was forced to take a second one. No, please don't heal your Lord of the Arena. Please don't heal your Lord of the Arena. Don't. You have better things to do with 7 mana. Come on, buddy. Work with me. No, don't buff him either. Ah, jeez, that sucks. So now, this is total baloney. Okay, what we're gonna do here then? Counterspell. God. Okay, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna polymorph that, and then I could play the Dark Iron Dwarf. It's basically just be a 4/4 body, or I could ping off the sheep. Or I could play Counterspell as well. Let's just keep his board clear. Well, God, Counterspell, I'm going to do it. There's a risk he has like a Shattered Sun Cleric or something for this sheep, but I want to ping this sheep later on. It might die to Flamestrike or Blizzard anyway, and it shouldn't be able to kill this tiger, so I'm taking a little risk that he has. I hope he doesn't have a buff or a source of damage, like an Elven Archer or something. And then this sheep surviving for a turn won't make a difference. So he checks for Vaporize and Ice Armor. He sees it's not that. He thinks it's probably Mirror Entity this time for sure. I mean, what are the odds? He offers me a Scarlet Crusader, but it is not Mirror Entity. Plays a Frost Elemental, freezes my Tiger. This is actually really frustrating because there are 2 things that I would need to ping off to kill off with Flame Strike. The Crusader and this Frost Elemental. Unfortunately, can't do them. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to Blizzard here. So we Blizzard like this. Then, obviously, I could ping off the Scarlet Crusader and kill it. What that would do, though, is it would let him heal this back up to 5 health, and then Flame Strike wouldn't kill it later. But if I ping this, it's clear that I have Flame Strike. Well, I'm going to ping this. I'm going to make it clear that I have Flame Strike. And I guess I pass the turn now, because I got nothing to do. So hopefully the stuff that he plays will all die to Flame Strike, but I did signal that I have it. However, he might just not have anything better to do. Well, it turns out he does have better things to do. Luckily, Dark Iron Dwarf will let me kill it. Unluckily... Well, no. Flame Strike plus the Tiger will let me kill it. Oh my gosh. Well, are we Flame Striking here, or are we just going to use the Dark Iron Dwarf? If I use the Dark Iron Dwarf, I'm a mana shy of Flame Strike. That seems actually really silly. So let's just Flame Strike it up. Now, I could trade my Tiger in, but what I'm going to do instead is actually throw the Grizzly under the bus. So now what he has to do is he has to heal this up, be a 6/5, hit the Grizzly, it'll be a 6/2, and then Flame Strike will kill it off, plus along with whatever else he plays this turn. Hopefully he doesn't have anything more. Yeah, that'll die to Flame Strike, that's good. And he's going to heal up the Ogre, run into the Grizzly. Hopefully he plays one more creature. He might be playing around the second Flame Strike, though, which should be commendable. No, he is not going to play around a second Flame Strike. This Golem will also bite it. So this is just very frustrating for him. Now, luckily for him, I can't play this Cobra because this Golem is a good card. I have to ping it to death. But that is, I'm sure, little consolation to my opponent who just faced 2 Flame Strikes. And remember, I do have Counterspell here, so he knows it's Counterspell, Spellbender, or Ice Block. He's got to be afraid Alright, he gets that thing. Well, that's actually fine. I can just ping it to death and kill it with my Tiger. Or ping off the Divine Shield and kill it with my Tiger. Arcane Explosion is an intriguing possibility, but it doesn't actually help me at all. Like, at all. So yeah, we're gonna ping that off. The Tiger, I think, has done his job. And, yeah, let's just play stuff out. One problem is I've got a lot of 1-drops. I have a Leper Gnome, a Worgen Infiltrator, a Mana Worm, and an Argent Squire, like, all sitting in the deck, waiting to be drawn and be terrible top decks. He's going to choose to get rid of the Dwarf rather than the Cobra, which suggests he doesn't have any big drops. If this were like some kind of a big thing, he wouldn't have left my Cobra around, and we see it is in fact a Cobra that he has. That'll take out my Cobra. Oh god, I got an Abusive Sergeant. That's just pathetic. I can't kill it. It's like an Arcane Explosion and Fire Blast, but that doesn't do it. Shit. If I play the Abusive Sergeant at him in the face for 4, what he's going to do is use the Cobra to kill my Abusive Sergeant, heal up the Cobra, and then my Cobra's still going to die. So yeah, we're just going to do this. This is so sad. And I will just play an Abusive Sergeant. It's really important here. You don't want to like keep him in your hand thinking to use the battle cry later, because basically he's going to deal his 2 damage just by being on the board already and being able to attack. So I don't need to keep him in my hand. This Arcane Explosion is abysmal. Mind Games, well, I'm glad that gets counterspelled because that could have been pretty bad. I mean, I don't have that many big things in here. I've already used Lord of the Arena. Yeah, I don't have anything big in there. It would have been pretty tame, I suppose, but... So yeah, maybe it's actually bad that Mind Games ate, or Counterspell ate a Mind Games as opposed to like a Mind Control or a removal spell. But I guess I didn't have any removal except for Arcane Explosion, so if he did get something big that I can't remember having in here, like Ascension or something, I would have been in trouble. He actually has a Holy Nova. That's really frustrating, although not the greatest Holy Nova. So we're in a top deck war. I could get a Pyroblast, which is bad because he's actually not going to die to it. There it is. Well, I'm going to shoot it at him. I mean, might as well. I have nothing else to do. If I lose this top deck war, that would be a little sad, but I threw everything I had at him. Just wasn't good enough. Yeah, Priest's being very good against Mage here. He seems to have gotten some kind of a removal card. We're about to find out, I think, if it is Shadow Word Pain. It's worth noting he heals faster than I can damage, so I need to actually get a minion down, which could be difficult. I'm not actually sure I have enough minions left. I've used Lord of the Arena. I've used my Tiger. I don't know what minions... Oh, I have an Archmage. That's going to be my saving grace here. Archmage. He plays a Crazed Alchemist, still holding on to this card, which is presumably some kind of removal. Okay, well, I don't think this Arcane Explosion is going to get any better, so we're going to use it here, along with Fire Blast. Going to keep the Divine Shield on this Argent Squire. That could be useful later. Yeah, Archmage is my saving grace. If that gets mind controlled or something, like if this is mind control, I'm in trouble because that's like the only thing that I have that's big enough to actually kill my opponent. He's gonna Thought Steal to steal some cards. That's not good. He's outdrawing me here in this endgame, which is really terrifying. And this Snow Mission Venture is actually shockingly good against my board. Archmage. Okay, well, I mean we're gonna find out if it's mind control. It's mind control. I can't hold it in my hand. Oh my god, I forgot to Fire Blast. That could actually be a big deal. So this card could be a mind control. I'm hoping it's Shadow Word Death, but it could be a mind control. He just didn't deem either of these worth mind controlling, and now he's got 4 cards here thanks to Thought Steal and Gnomish Inventor. Lord! Oh, this is bad. He just drew something. I've used both Flame Strikes and Blizzard, so I don't have any more mass removal. He's got Shadow Madness. That's not good. He can kill off my Mana Worm this way. Oh, jeez. I'm in trouble. I cannot burn him out because he keeps on healing. He's like healed for so much health already. Worgen Infiltrator. Oh my gosh, my deck is really biting my ass. I gotta kill his minions. Gotta kill his minions. He should be at 12 health. I forgot to ping him once. I've already used Pyroblast. I've already used Fireball. I don't know what's in here, but I think it's all junk. What? I can't think of a single card. I have Ascension in here. I guess that's pretty good. But he's drawn a lot with these Gnomish Inventors. Here's another Sunwalker. That's not good. At all. I'm going to lose this game. This was kind of a dumb game. I just really ran out of steam, though. That was pretty much all there is to it. That Holy Nova to kill my 2 1-drops was really devastating, and then he kept on healing up, so I couldn't burn him out. That's that Imp Master. Yes, that's the other card I have. Awesome. Thanks, game. So we need to ping this off and throw my guys out away. Sure. We'll do that. Oh no, I already used my... Oh, that was stupid. I shouldn't have done that. I should have hit him in the face, because this guy's just going to get healed before I can kill it. His hero ability really trumped mine. This is a really good illustration, by the way, of how priests are very good against mages. I think he thought stole my Archmage. Or it might have just had his own, I don't know. And he has mana left over to heal off the Gnomish Inventor. This is good. This is over. We just got to a standstill here. The card drawn, I didn't. And that's why he won. Although I have another Lord of the Arena. Well, thank goodness for that. What is relevant here? I don't even know. So he can run the Archmage in, it'll survive, and then he can heal it up afterwards, back to 3 health. He did have a Shadow Word Death. Alright, I'm going to give it just a well played and see what this is. This is pretty much over. Nothing I can do. He just outdrew me. Balls. Yeah, the deck, that game, my deck just wasn't good enough. That's all it was. Well, thanks for watching, folks. Hope you enjoyed this. Please like and or subscribe if you did. We'll be back soon with the rest of the games. I'll see you shortly.